Hi everyone, Erica here, and I just wanted to share my 1 month results. So, just to give you a little bit of background, Harrison and I wanted to be homesteaders in the sense of growing our own food, raising our own meat, and living sustainably. So, we actually thought of this during the pandemic and it really showed us the importance of food sovereignty or just growing your own food or sustainability. So, for example, I'm sure you all remembered when everyone went crazy and bought not only toilet paper, but meat. Like everyone just threw everything in the freezer because we just didn't know about the pandemic. Instead of doing that, well, we did do that some. We actually, like many of you, made a garden in the summer of 2020. I've never had experience in gardening, and Harrison had some, but we ended up watching a lot of YouTube videos, and it came across the Justin Rhodes show or Justin Rhodes. We were kept watching and all these different kind of homesteading videos, and then we were like, okay, this is what we're going to do. So our journey actually began when I accepted a band director position, and we moved all the way up north to the East Coast to Maine. So, first thing we did was establish a garden. Then we got our chickens. 4 chickens turned to 8 chickens, turned to 12 chickens, to now have 16 because 2 passed for natural reasons. We were like so determined to be homesteaders. We were like, great, let's do chickens first and we'll get to rabbits and all of this, just because we genuinely felt that growing your own food, raising your own meat was the way to go. That's how it all started. Then in the summer of 2021, we're watching several documentaries about climate change, which led to shows like Rotten, which then went to other documentaries. And what I've been noticing is that they were saying is how we could help the environment is to actually not eat meat. One farmer suggested to grow your own food, and which we already knew because that's what we wanted to do, was grow and raise our own food. But thinking about the carbon footprint of animal production, so even though we knew we were going to raise our own food, where we were like, oh, that doesn't apply to us. But then we watched a documentary about the value of being plant-based, Game Changers. And if you've seen Game Changers, and you know where I'm going at, and how they have all these athletes, superb Olympian, world like renowned athletes who are plant-based. Basically, it's a great documentary. You should watch it. Once we watched Game Changers, I told Harrison, I was like, maybe we shouldn't eat meat. Maybe we shouldn't raise our animals. Like maybe this and this and that. And this is really hard for me because I'm pretty sure my first word was meat. And it's not even the word meat like in English, the word meat in Spanish, carne, that my dad made fun of me. He always says that I always asked him for carne when I was little. And like, so this was a big thing for me because I literally, and Harris used to call me a carnivore. He was like, all I do is eat meat, because I actually used to love meat. So I said to myself, what's next? We have a whole fridge of meat. We had a whole freezer of meat because we bought meat in bulk. We actually bought a deep freezer just to store meat. And so, we decided, well, let's just wean ourselves off. And that's what we did. We weaned ourselves off. Dairy was the first thing to go because once the milk was gone, we didn't buy anymore. The eggs we still had because at that time we had 18 chickens, so we were eating the eggs. But then they molted early and they stopped laying. And our 6 baby chickens that we just got were still young, that they weren't laying yet either. The cheese was very hard. I actually have like a video that I took on my cell phone, or even a picture of me eating the last cheese in our house, like, because it was really hard for me. Like, I love cheese. But I told myself, like, if this is what I gotta do, I'm gonna do it. So, and even if this information is false, what's the harm in eating plants? Like, in my opinion, I was like, how can I go wrong by eating plants? Because watching Game Changers kind of makes you just want to eat plants. So that happened, and we weaned ourselves off. And here's when I get to my weight numbers. And I'm sharing this because why not? Hopefully, it will help you if you're trying to do this as well. So I started off at 255 pounds. And by the time of December, for this is me weaning off of meat and then getting more of the plant intake, I was able to lose 17 pounds. I would feel like between August and December that our weaning process was pretty good and we felt really great. And then Thanksgiving came and we were like, are we really not going to eat turkey on Thanksgiving? And so we decided to ourselves that, like, on the holidays, we're going to eat meat. So we went to Thanksgiving and we did. We ate meat and we ate other things, you know, and so and it didn't hit us that night, but the next day we just didn't feel good. And well, we now know that we're gonna stick to plant-based because now we don't even like meat. So there you go. Also, from August to December, Harrison and I were trying to conceive. So my goal was that by Christmas, I'm gonna be pregnant. And during this process, I did visit all my doctors because I was due to see them. They were happy that I lost weight. They asked what I did. I said, well, I'm going to be whole food plant-based, or I told them that I'm going to be plant-based from now on. They all like supported me. In fact, my primary care doctor said it was fine. I was actually pretty pleased about that she was supportive. Then after that, I went to my OBGYN, who was very pleased that I've lost, at that time, I've lost 7 pounds since the last time she saw me. And she says that continue to do what I'm doing. And I told her that I want to maintain to be plant-based. She was fine with it. She was very supportive. And she was also helping me through letrozole to try to conceive. And so when I went to go for my second round of letrozole, my OBGYN suggested that I get blood work to see where my sugar levels are. And to me, I wasn't worried about it because in 2016, I found out I was type 2 diabetic. My numbers were crazy. I think my A1C was like crazy. I don't know, like 11. My fasting was like in the high 200s, right below 300s. It was really bad. And I changed my whole lifestyle and I exercised and I ate right. And I was able to get my sugars to fasting to be between 80 and 100. And ever since then, every time I got A1C, it always was not even near the pre-diabetic zone. I thought to myself, I was fine because I've been fine for almost 5 years. I'm going to be good. So she calls me actually right before Thanksgiving and she told me that I have diabetes. Like I think the number was 6.5. And so I was like, I can't be diabetic. I haven't been diabetic for like 5 years. And that was very sad for me because there was something that I didn't want to think about again. It is what it is. I now have type 2 diabetes. So then she said with that, because I already took the round 2 of letrozole by the time she told me. So if you get pregnant, you get pregnant. But also if you don't end up being with child, then maybe we should take a break so that you can control your blood sugars and that you won't get gestational diabetes. All those things that I, of course, did not want for myself or for my baby, but I honestly just didn't want to hear it. I said, okay. It also happened that at the time that I was ovulating or should have ovulated, I got in a car accident. Christmas time was coming and I made a Facebook post. I usually only post like once or twice a year. It's usually for my birthday and for the anniversary of my husband and I getting married. That's usually all that I do. But I was feeling down and I was just thinking, of course, for a fellow PCOS women watching, like, what is wrong with me? Like, why can't I just make a baby? that really hit me hard. And I got a message from my dear friend, Teresa Saratelli, who Teresa is whole food plant-based, and she got her nutritional certificate, all this, like she did everything she could so she can be a licensed coach. And she told me that she was going to help me. She's like, Erica, I'm going to help you. She's someone that I trust, that I absolutely love. Her and I talked, and she told me that, I strongly feel that you can get your body real, like better and working to what you want it, and you can have a baby. I feel it if you just, follow a whole food plant-based diet. And I told her, I said, we have been doing it for a while. I have lost weight. I'm not regulating on my own. Like, I don't know, a really long time, maybe a year. And that she then shared with me that, like, well, are you using oil? And I was like, yeah, like, why wouldn't I use oil? Because in my head, I was like, oil is made out of plants, so I can use it. And she says, get rid of the oil. Like, be whole food, plant-based with no oil, and you're going to see a difference. Well, if you've gotten to this point, then you know that I am not using oil at all and in my cooking, and that has made a difference. Just a reminder that I did lose 17 pounds before working with Teresa Saratelli, who her business is Total Plant Centric LLC. So the good things about having a coach is just the knowledge that a coach brings you, the accountability of meeting every week, and just giving you great resources. And it also makes you feel like you're not doing it alone. So here is my results. December 26th is when I started with the guidance of Teresa Saratelli, and I weighed 238.8. And at the end of the month, I weighed 228.8. So I lost 10 pounds. Not only did I lose 10 pounds, my fasting blood sugars started at the end of December, averaging about from like the mid 20s to as high as like 132. And then I'm now at the teens. So sometimes I'll get even to 100, but it would be, the average tend to be like 112 for my fasting. So my blood sugars levels has gotten down. And all I did, there's only one time I purposefully went for a walk, which I was in my video, my winter walk, and when I made Starsuit. But besides that, to be honest, I did not exercise or go or do any movement. I just ate better and avoided oil, and that resulted me in losing 10 pounds. So that is my results of my weight results and my diabetic sugar level results. So I want to share now the struggles I had, or just pros and cons, if that's possible to have cons in plant-based eating. But I would say that it took me a while to figure out food combinations, so which Teresa helped me with. And like the whole protein versus starch versus leafy greens, like all that lingo. I wrote my food journal, like what I ate, and I would tell Teresa, this is what I ate. And she's like, okay, well, you're missing this. And I think that just knowing what I'm missing is very vital. And so having her tell me what am I missing, and like just tips and things like that, it has been very beneficial. Two, so that's number one. Number two, there is a lot of cooking happening, and there's a lot of washing dishes. Like, it is somewhat time consuming to prepare these meals because you're taking produce and you're making it into a meal. But that also can be shortened if you just keep your meals basic. It has gotten better through time. It does help when you have like an Instant Pot, and you can cook something on the stove, cook something in the oven, and cook something on the Instant Pot. That does help. So the pros are, for number one, feeling better. Like, if you feel better, that's automatically a pro. Two is seeing the results. Seeing that I was sleeping better, seeing that my blood sugars are down and seeing that I was losing weight. And it's not all about the weight, but for me, I think losing weight is good. I actually couldn't believe that I was losing like 3 pounds a week and etc. because I actually bought a battery to put in my scale, digital scale, to make sure it wasn't wrong, but it was right. So that was exciting. Pro number 3 is I had a lot of energy and I was not tired. Pro number 4 is that I love the creative aspect of plant-based cooking because you really need to figure out what is good for you. Like you have to figure out what taste you like, what vegetables you like, because if you eat the same vegetable over and over again, it can be boring. So the experimental part for me was a pro because I love cooking. So I was like, ooh, like let's use turmeric here, or let's use white beans instead of pinto beans. Like that kind of like library of knowing your own taste buds for me was a pro. Now, my last pro for now, I'm sure I'll say them in another video, is that I could not believe was actually the support. In the support of my doctors, I have my whole food plant-based coach. The second one, I have been assigned a diabetes specialist from my OBGYN, whom I meet every 6 weeks. She's not only a diabetes specialist, but she's also specifically a diabetes specialist for women who are pregnant. And my third person, I would say, is my OBGYN. I see her more than my primary care doctor, but my primary care doctor could also be a resource. So I do have a team of people. So I think the biggest thing is the support, not only the medical support, but the social emotional support from my friends, my family, and my colleagues, and the at-home support. My husband is doing this with me. Like that's love right there. His meals are slightly different than mine. I do have to add some things to his because his body is just different. So I do want you to think it's not a one fits all. It's based on what your needs are. How is your health? My health and my physical shape is different than his health and his physical shape. So, but we both are whole food plant-based. So those are the pros and cons. So hopefully that gives you an understanding of why I started this and how it came about and the help I'm getting and the results I've got and all the support I'm getting. So if you're proud of me, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I thank you to the bottom of my heart for you spending time to watch my journey. It really motivates me. And also, if you feel like you're in need of a coach, feel free to contact Teresa Saratelli. Her information is below. And thank you so much. I'm doing it, you guys. I'm doing it. And it's amazing. I hope that you guys all have a good day. Bye.